So, and I could understand some of that. Because me too, I've got very strong feelings.
Yeah.
You see, I was into Bob from I was 14. From I come to England.
That is something we need to talk about.
Yeah. And the Bob Marley, you know what, I knew Bob was going to
Like I enjoyed.
okay, right. Yeah. No, but I was surprised when I heard that he wasn't big already. Wow. We were here, there.
In the middle.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good.
You see, that is the same thing. That is the same thing we say about you.
Right. I humble myself when I taste it.
I must put on. Alright. You see how we're doing it now?
Yep. No, when I heard Bob, I even said to my own man, he never heard of Bob Marley. This time I was in school and the first records I heard was Small Axe and Duppy Conqueror. And I thought, gosh.
Remember you got one of the windows so you can't
Right.
And those are big tunes.
Yeah, well,
And tunes that
it's only certain people like those tunes. Because they weren't really like No Woman, No Cry or
that is it.
attempting to please.
It's more than halfway.
Cool. So, which one are you were gonna play?
I'm playing it. I'm playing it. Oh, you mean this one?
This was recorded in my front room.
This one.
Yeah. One of the first sessions of that.
And you see what Gillian used to play?
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Real
probably
early.
the first dub,
Yeah. Real early.
Let me brush you. I am going to. This which one? Let me do. Thank you.
This was actually a jam session in my front room.
Oh.
The guys never were just jamming.
Oyster.
Almost done.
Again, it's not working.
It's not working the way it should work.
And he was playing on it, so he was playing on it.
The filter was
I don't know why
Why
they touched
them
it.
leave
I
it
don't
fit
know.
in
They
there?
always do that.
we went back to zero.
When we play out, this is one of our go-to tracks.
Okay. Sound nice. Yeah.
And this track specific out.
Is there another mic on that side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Folks, this is your hour.
You've got it. Can I could send somebody? Could I send somebody who was...
Yeah, man.
You don't have to tell him your name. I can't do it from my phone. Where's your phone?
Put on another track. Put on another track. I will
write it in and I'll just... If they click onto this, they could see it.
Yeah.
In the city there's no pictures. No pictures, I would say. So I might not go back there. Everyone I go back there.
The must have.
Yeah. We must have to go back there. We have to. Black man have to go back in Africa. It's a must. Tiny man I go back in China. But I'll make no fuss about that. Syrian I go back in Syria. Yeah. Indiana go back in India. White man have to go back in Europe. Anything them do, we not gonna make no fuss about that. Yes, we have to go home, as I was saying. Repatriation is a must. Tell you, we have to forward home.
Where's your phone? Are you?
Man, Donald Trump, the U.S. president, say 11 million undocumented immigrants have to forward home. Find them ways, I will say. Get from them every way home, as I will tell you. Yes, I saw the man say that he have to forward home.
It'd be nice if people
Pack up your things and go home.
That's why I didn't even want to use
But
my phone
anything
and
them try to do, them can't stop not to dread fan go through. Can't get I man down, as I will tell you.
You remember?
No,
you
they would never try
remember
to
the song about those beat?
Yes, we will.
Especially with you, Roy.
Them say,
Such a
we
great...
don't care about that. I want them up to say. And anything they want to do, I man no care what them really want to do. Repatriation is a must. And no, we really not gonna make no fuss. We really and truly not make no fuss, as I would say. Ain't gonna make no fight. Yes, they forget to go back home. Yes, they gotta go back home. When the right time come, it will be dread for some. Dread. No one can stop the righteous time. Repatriation is a must. We all have to go back there. So make we open the gate and make we repatriate. But open up the gates and we repatriate. White man I go back in Europe. Chinese man I go back in China. But Indian I go back in India. The Syrian I go back in Syria. Jamaican come back to Jamaica. Yes, and that's what we be done. Yes, we have to forward home. Forward, and remember we home, we will like it or not.
111.
Yes, we have to go home, as I would say. Yeah, we have to
welcome and welcome one and all. We're very happy to be back. Happy New Year to all the BMC family, all the listeners tuning in to what is going to be a special show. I'm not even going to belabor it much. Let me ask Mrs. Wedderburn to say a few words before we get into it.
Okay, good evening, and welcome once again. Yes, it's great to be back after such a nice little hiatus. But yes, and of course, naturally, we're all anticipating what's going to be happening now. We've started off playing tunes that have been mixed, produced, recorded, everything by the great Mad Professor. So we are so delighted that you're in our studio today, and you know we're going to be talking a lot about all of the stuff that we've been playing and more. And so yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Wedderburn. A unique pair of DJs in the world of music, not just reggae music. Unique because it's a husband and wife team, and it's very entertaining. And yes, good way forward.
Thank you, Uncle.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just to let you guys know, wherever you're listening from, the show is exclusively Mad Professor. Every single track that we're going to play will have Mad Professor's DNA stamped all over it in some way, shape, or form, or in every way, shape, or form. So you'll be availed to the versatility of this man, this magician, this legend, this great man. Yes, we have to say it, we have to say it. And Gillian and I are just really, really blessed, humbled, and grateful that you're here to spend some time with us.
Thank you.
When we were coming in, I told you what I wanted to ask on ear. So I'm going to ask on ear now, and we're going to go back to the source, but not necessarily musically, but just the levity, because we know that you're from Guyana, and for me, growing up and hearing about Guyana in the 70s when I was a youngster, and it was a political hub as far as the Caribbean was concerned, and a lot of things were going on there, and some great people, some people who led upheavals and were assassinated, you know, and I want to know, what was your Guyana?
Well,
In your childhood, what was your Guyana?
my Guyana, it was a fascinating place, but a weird place. It was weird in the sense that, you know, I felt claustrophobic, you know, in Guyana. You know, I basically wanted to get out, and I knew that I was gonna leave Guyana because I felt if I was there, I would really stagnate. So from I was a little boy, for instance, I was doing electronics. Like I built my first radio at the age of 9 and 10, you know.
That's
Yeah,
weak.
I mean, I teach myself electronics. And I knew for me to do more in electronics, I had to leave this place. Because, you know, Guyana, like most third world or ex-colonies, it's full of, you know, like the glass ceiling atmosphere. And it's a glass ceiling that as I grew to find out later, the glass ceiling is lower as a black man and as a dark-skinned black man, and when you don't have a father in the government and uncle with a shop and all these things, then it's more frustrating.
People would understand that places like Guyana and Trinidad were what you call dichotomies, because 50% of the population was black and 50% of the population were Indian, and the politics ran right along that line.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, sometimes the black people, them who are in power, who's supposed to liberate or help positive liberation, a lot of them were adopting like a bourgeois kind of attitude. That
We're talking when? Late 60s? We're talking late 60s, early 70s, when the colonial hand was still very, very powerful, because a lot of Caribbean countries were on the cusp of getting independence, or would have gained independence. Jamaica got it in 62. When did Guyana?
66.
66. So there you go. So the colonial hand was still very strong.
Yeah, man. And you know, I experienced a lot of that, and I knew, right, I've got to get out. And my father was in England and my mom was in Guyana, and they split, and I kept bugging her that I wanted to come to England. And I know it kind of upset her, but
I can imagine.
But I had to do what I felt I had to do from a young age. You know?
Well, that headstrong and knowing what you want,
right,
was there from them time.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to do something in electronics. Not so much in music, though I did build a guitar when I was small. So the music tendencies were there, but more electronics. To me, electronics was like magic. The fact that you could talk in one box and somebody hear it on the next box. As simple and as we take it for granted, in the 60s, that was magic.
Yes, it's still magic now, but your take on it, and you're seeing it as fascinating. I mean, we all grew up and we just took it for granted.
Right.
You took it a step further and became very analytical about it and wanting to.
We wanted to know how every aspect of the electronic thing works, and I took that attitude towards the whole studio business, wherein we have a thing in the studio where we call signal path and track routing, where if the signal coming on the microphone, for instance, what it takes to change it from audio into electrical pulses, the type of signal, it goes down the wire, what happens to it, what could happen, what you don't want to happen, because that's when you get things like distortion or phase relation, you know, things. I mean, it's a whole mind load of things.
Hold on, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
You had the fascination, and did you go to school for it?
No, I mean, later on, I tried, but every time I attempt to do like a course, I would become bored because they're not getting down to the nitty gritty that I wanted to get on. So, I mean, I attempted about 3 or 4 different courses in my lifetime on electronics and electrical engineering, and after a few weeks, I had to abandon them all. You know?
I have to ask because I mean, we sit in our living rooms. Let me tell you how, because this is just our thing. And we listen to the music. Right now, we can tell if it's a mad professor.
Right.
If it's a mad professor, true. Based on how you manipulate the tune and all of that. We get to know that now.
Right.
We get to know it's not scientists. We get to know it's not Toby. We get to know it's not forget the guy really for Louis Sham. So to know.
You kind of developed you know, it's good to know the inside, because from you know the inside, you could put your own stamp on it, and there's certain little idiosyncrasies that I love to do, and I mean it might vary from one year to the next. I mean, like I just come back and I was in the studio this weekend, and I'm putting together some tracks with a certain kind of echo that I haven't used for years, and I know like for the next month, most of the tunes I make gonna have that particular stuff.
Is the
it's
season
one
for
of
that?
those things. Yeah.
Before I go on, I wanted to say that the big selector, Mrs Wedderburn, started the show with a track that when Mad Professor came in, he said that particular track was done in his living room.
In the front room, yeah. Dub Jamboree, yeah.
Yes.
Dub Jamboree.
Dog Jamboree. And
I was done in my front room in 1979 or 1980.
my God.
And it was a jam, literal jam with, let me see, it was a bass player named Preacher, you know, he's still quite active, one of the best bass players in this country.
There you go.
A drummer called Terry Crooks, and yeah, it was a great session because I used to have Sunday sessions because I still have my daytime job, so I would call the guys in around Sunday 2 o'clock, and we would just jam, and I put them to tapes, and you know.
That is something that we're going to come to.
Yeah.
Should we play another track? Or
Why not?
go on, Dad?
Yeah, man.
Play another track? All right. As I said before, the show, the music is exclusively Mad Professor. And I found this track, or this record, in my collection. I think God just put it in front of me. Seriously. Because I looked at this track and I'm looking at it and seeing, hold on, Chuck D and Mad Professor. Now, when...
That must have been in the late 80s, I think, if I remember well. I'm trying to remember whether this was done in my house. No, it might have been down Peckham. Do we have a date on this? Let's see.
it would be...
Patrick Andrade, yeah, I remember now. Chuck D, yeah, I remember. Because at this time you didn't get much interaction between hip-hop guys and reggae guys. So,
And here you are
yeah.
on this track. Let me tell them what it is before I play it. It's from the Fire This Time. At least American Indian people know exactly how they've been fucked around. Pardon my French, uncle. And the track, The Fire This Time, that's how we're gonna do it now. I'm gonna try and match Mrs. Wedderburn, but boy, I can't match her. So let's get into this one. Mad Professor, Chuck D. You're listening to Mr. and Mrs. Wedderburn, first show of the year. The legend, my uncle, musical uncle, Mad Professor. No.
It's just that mix of
The whole thing about it, too, you know, is so many tangents we can bounce off of. Because you just talk about reggae and hip hop not interacting. Just hold it.
I remember.
When I heard this, as I said, God sent me this and just put it in my hand. I said,
I have no
where
idea
did
in
you
years.
get that one? From Pure Vinyl?
no, this was Pure Vinyl. I got it in Brixton.
I haven't heard this in probably since I done it. think this done around 87.
87.
Yeah. And this done in White House Lane. My present
The
studio.
present studio. We're going to go back to the whole thing of
Okay.
at that time with reggae and hip hop.
Right.
And it's here because that is interesting.
So this is your first show for the year.
Yeah?
Yes, they were on.
So it's not every week. It's not every
We're
every
here.
month.
We're here every month, once a month. But they were on holiday from November. So November, December, January, and they just came back.
Okay.
So we're here every second Monday.
Okay. Good.
They still have a cultural alliance to their fans. They have no
You know what?
black.
To be playing this is one thing when we sit down and play music in the house. It's another thing when we're playing here with you. We still a try. We still a try to deal with that.
You talking about brainwash, lost people.
Somebody said
They ain't giving a fuck
amazing.
about anybody else. They ain't giving a fuck about this. If you don't give a fuck about yourself, they ain't giving a fuck about anybody else. Anybody else. Anybody else. Anybody else. Anybody else.
Just listen to the sound effect. Just genius.
And they said they tried to listen, but the link ain't live. On the mixed club.
Yeah, mixed club.
Hear them the bass say.
You build a strong case of
But we
self-talk.
got to think.
I know, you know
Strong
what?
case.
But we got to think.
I regretted telling that story to my children because about two of them, every time they want to give an excuse why they shouldn't study, they pick on my case. I said, yeah, but Dad, you came out all right. You know? Let's watch the level.
You see me there vibe to the song. Right? Why, I tell you. There is a case for being self-taught, and the case is right now very, very clearly shown. Just a sonics from that, and people, if you're listening, I know you understand. Ensure you have good headphones or a good speaker system, because you'll miss all the intricacies, all the nuances of what we're playing. But coming back to a comment you made just before we went on about the what should I call it now? Reggae and the hip hop world not coming together, or there wasn't that gelling yet at the time.
Miles apart.
How you got involved with this record?
You know, going back, oh gosh, what was that? 36, almost 40 years ago. I can't remember. But I mean, I think it's a mix that done for this guy Patrick, and then I didn't hear from him, and then people in America started to tell me about this record that I done. What? Yeah. So it totally left my head from I finished with it, which is what happens with a lot of projects.
Well,
You do a project, and because you connected, but it's not your baby, so
you're moving on.
so you move on.
Yes.
And then someone's gonna remind you down the line that yes, you done this thing, and sometimes you have to think, what's that you talking about? Because you just do what you gotta do at the time.
Yes.
And you keep it moving. Yeah, that's it.
I wanna go back to the living room, that first record, and the living room. That was your first studio setup?
First studio setup. I mean, I came home. Okay, I was building stuff as a totally building different radios, transmitters, amplifiers, and I just thought, I build a studio. So I came home one day and said to my missus that I'm gonna build a studio, and she thought, where? Because we just bought this house, and I said, right here in the front room. And to which she said, yeah, but we supposed to have a nice three-piece
Sweet. That's why you
Yeah.
buy the house.
And I said, no. I said, well, I'll just divide. Look, I'll get a control room. I'll put my control room here, this end, and down there, and I'll put the drum kit and the piano. And I mean, she wasn't happy about it, but I went ahead and I done that, So in those days, you didn't. Whilst you had a lot of people wanting to sing and a lot of people wanting to make music, you didn't get a lot of studios. To build a studio at the end of the 70s, you needed silly money. I mean, I'll give you an example. A professional tape machine, which would have been a 16-track machine, would have cost almost about £15,000, £16,000. And that was the cost of a house.
Yes.
So the house we live in costs about 17,000, and to get a proper machine, big 2-inch, I would have to be spending that. And £17,000 wasn't easy to come back.
I can imagine back in the
it was-
70s.
Yeah, it was hard,
Big money.
hard work, hard grafting, but it's something I wanted to do, and I thought, okay, let me start with a 4-track. I'll start with a 4-track similar to what like Scratch had at Black Ark, and then I built a mixing desk first with 4 channels, then 8, then I had another 4, and by the time I had 8 channels, that's when I started to record, Yeah, I started to make music, and I didn't know that many musicians, but the few I knew, I got them together and get them in for the Sunday for the Sunday sessions,
The Sunday session sound legendary. But what I want to ask you, who else like you had a was there anybody else that you could look to and say, I want to build a studio like this man, like this black man or whatever?
Well, I tell the truth, the famous studios in England or the popular, well, people weren't really recording. You had Dip, a guy named Dennis Harris,
Mhm.
who he had Brown Sugar. You had another guy in Peckham named Jim Daddy, and of course the famous producer, engineer, musician was Dennis Bovell,
Ah.
who was working out of a studio in the West End called Gooseberry.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't his studio as such.
He
just-
was working out of somebody's studio.
Yeah. He was working out of Gooseberry, which was a great studio because I mean a lot of good records were made there.
Mhm.
Like Janet Kay's Silly Games was made there, and A Little Way Different, Errol Dunkley. You know, it was a special studio, and the good thing is, it had the same desk that I was building. It had a Songcraft mixing board, so you know, I mean, I remember going there when I was like 18, 19, and watching Dennis manipulate the thing and thinking, boy, you know, I want to be like that. I want to be like that when I grew up.
So we have to big up Dennis Bovell then.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Every time,
Dennis.
all the time.
Yeah. A lot of people would tell you that Dennis he was really the hallmark that most of us in England tried to.
Aspire to.
Yeah, definitely.
We have to big him up. But again, not that people make the leap that you made. Again, as you mentioned, simply because of the financial barrier put up. How? Yes, it was expensive. How did you get around that to put your studio?
Well, I try to understand about business, and yeah, it's not easy because at that time, like I said, the glass ceiling.
It was very much here also.
Right. Oh yeah. Gosh. I mean, you couldn't do nothing. You needed real money, and you know, people didn't really want to give you chances. You know, whether it's a bank manager or people in the media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had to really put it this way. You had to use your head.
I can imagine.
think.
I think a lot of that still happens
Still
now.
exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still exists. But the opportunities for youngsters, if they have to drive here, it's really a lot more than we had, you know?
Yes.
Because at that time, even though racism was illegal, you had people making all kind of excuse why they can't work with you. You know, to the point that after all, they might say, well, you're upstart, or you're too demanding, or you know, or you might appear to be threatening, or some, you know, or some might say because like the whole Jamaica vibe was a little bit more aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
and some people back off of that, you know. Some people would use that as an excuse why you can't go further, you know.
Let me dip into that in another way.
Yeah, okay.
Were you were hitting that glass ceiling?
Right.
What about others around you, your own? How were they dealing with it? Were they supportive or?
Some people, I guess for every person that was supportive, there's people who were not supportive, you know. Because some people, you know, you have to remember also at that time there weren't that many black labels with, and especially black studios. So you had a lot of people looking for any excuse why they should not record with me, you know. Like people would say, oh, too much wires on the floor. Yeah, look at that. You know, they'd look for all kind of excuses. And some people still had the kind of mentality that, boy, you know, let me go and record record with the white studios because the white man know what he's doing and the black man don't necessarily know what he's doing. So, you know, you had all kinds of angles. So you just had to persevere and get over the, you know, the obstacles and the negativity.
And that is why, you see, why Gillian and I love and respect you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
The level is deep. The level is deep. But
Oh, it's quite deep.
before I get too heavy for some people out there, yeah.
Well, no, people have to hear the truth.
Yeah,
regardless,
well,
you know,
we know,
sometimes.
and that's what we're here to do. We can't get them all right. No, it might weight them down.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, it could be a bit depressing. I must admit, it could be depressing, especially when you think of the things that came into your way to stop you progressing. You know?
There you go.
I mean, fun enough, as you talk, I remember one time a guy came to build, do some building work at my studio, gave him some money and everything, and then the guy just disappeared, you know? And you think, oh gosh, at that point you could easily run and leave the thing, you know? Because
Yes.
you put aside like a £200, and £200 at that time was
Again, it was
a
a lot of money, yes.
But you know, things like that happen, and it just helped to make you as opposed to break you.
Look, as again, we are standing here on the back of what you do and a lot of your peers do, and we are grateful. We are grateful. We'll play some music
Yeah, man.
and
play
come
some
back.
music.
The big selector,
Mrs Wedderburn.
Mrs Wedderburn. We have line up.
Well, I'm going to be playing from Mad Professor's Ariwa 2019 Rhythm and Dub series, and this particular one is called All Nations.
Okay.
Jen said, need that in your blood clot.
Sorry.
I'm not. I'm
You know,
We're going
I
to
can't remember. I can't remember putting that in. You know, that sleeve.
We're going to segue into him after this.
Typical scratch.
Here with the thing clean, man. Clean. Make you want to turn up the thing so we can turn up some more.
You have to watch the levels on there. So
It's okay.
Is it that you want to do that? You know, them outside. You know what I
Too
mean.
loud. Okay.
They don't like the noise outside.
You
You have,
can't?
to, you have to put something on your thing.
Yeah, put on something.
What you want me to put down?
Me? I don't mind. I mean,
Tell
I'm
me what you want me to
interested.
put on.
No,
I just put down
I'm quite interested in how you
Alright.
see and what you feel. Yeah.
We are going to go with no, you pick the shaka. You pick the shaka. I'm going to go with Sister Nancy Abigail. Cause so you pick the shaka. Now me go play Armageddon, and then me go play the flip side with the jazz.
Okay, with the jazz, what's up?
And one of these tracks
Yeah.
is going to be on
Jazz effect.
the project that we're talking about, the jazzy side of dub.
Okay, right, good.
We start preparing, don't worry.
All right, nice.
Clean, man, clean. Uncle, we're so grateful. As I said,
It's my pleasure.
we don't make it up. We just go off on
You
the
know what?
tangent.
I'm glad that people love this stuff. Even if it's a few people, because when when I made a lot of this, you know, sometimes you make a record and you get the impression no one likes it. So you
have to just push through 126 people. This show might be the biggest show on this platform ever.
Good.
Tell you that much.
That's it. Yes. Well, you're in tune to Mr. and Mrs Wedderburn live on the BMC radio. Yeah, they're gonna be dubbing you crazy.
Thanks for that, Mad Professor. Again, it's an honor. There's so much music that you have produced over your 40 odd years in the business. There's so many people that you've worked with, and so many collaborations. I just want to ask about the record label, how you started that, and the name Ariwa. Where did that come from? What is it? Who is it?
Okay. Well, Ariwa, it's a name from Africa, from Yoruba, Nigeria. And I'm really one of the back to Africa generation. Pan-Africanism. And the whole idea was that we would somehow get ourselves back out of the colonial way of thinking, back to Africa, physically, spiritually, mentally, and thing. And our whole lifestyle is supposed to reflect that. So when I had the idea first to start an electronic company, I thought I would take an African name. So I had a job at Ready Fusion fixing boring sub-assemblies of the Ministry of Defense kind of thing. And in this job at a firm called Ready Fun, like I said, there was a couple of African guys. One of them was a big, long, tall African guy. His name was King Paul, and he said he was from Nigeria, and I said, okay, look, could you give me some names? And I remember, as clear as yesterday, him taking out the test certificate that we used to pass the sub-assemblies with and tie them on. And he write 3 names on this paper, this cardboard. And I look at it, and the first name was Ariwo, A-R-I-W-O. And I said, I like this name. I decided I'll go with Ariwa, but I wasn't too sure about the O, so I thought, let me knock off the O and put A and I call it Ariwa. And that was what, 74. So since then, I became Ariwa, and I stuck with it because I felt it was my calling on earth to re-embrace Africa, because most of us as black people, we came from Africa.
Yeah.
And we might mix with a little Coolie or a little Chinese or Amerindian, but the core of us is African, and I thought that's part of my reversal of the whole colonial thing, and I should embrace Africa and reflect that in whatever I do.
Yes, I like that. I notice that with something like a big studio now, in the beginning of that, once you set that up, how did you now get these artists to believe in you and want to work with you?
Well, I don't know if they believe in me so much, But you know, look, look, it's like a ball rolling on the road, gathering snow, and you know, and people come on board. You know, at the time we started, there weren't that many people providing the kind of facility where an artist could come and record and share their ideas, and so you know. So when when a few good people discovered what I was doing, they would come round. First on a Sunday, I mean we had people like Sister Audrey, she'd come round the front room. We had a guy, Sergeant Pepper, who ended up bringing more or less his whole family.
Oh.
He's like, you know, Garnet Cross. He brought his sister Sandra Cross, and you know, he brought cousins, and you know, it just gathers as you go
Yes,
along. You
that
know,
sort of
and
momentum.
then you release a record, and it might flop, and then you release the next one, and it might start to sell, and people just came on board. You know.
And your biggest recording to date?
Well, there were a few of them. Single wise, we had Country Living, Sandra Cross, that was 85. And we had like John McLean, If I Give My Heart to You, that was a pretty big one. Then we had, I mean, a lot of the big ones were Lovers Rock records. And then we had like some of the albums we done pretty well. I mean, we're still selling like Dub Me Crazy, the first chapter, and the fifth chapter, you know, those were the Ariwa records. But the biggest one is probably the Massive Attack album, which was No Protection, which did pretty well.
How did that come about? How did that come about?
Well, you know, I was sitting at home. Well, not at home, sitting in the studio. January, when was it? 94, yeah. And thinking, boy, my diary looked empty. Nothing is going on. And then a fax came through. This was the days of fax. Fax came through from Virgin asking me if I want to mix the single. They sent the single around on cassette, and it was this group they were gonna launch called Massive Attack. And the single, the working title of the single was Sly. And I thought, yeah, why not? And they gave me a budget that was quite attractive. And I started to work on it, and next thing I know, they released it, and it went into the top 10 national charts, you know.
Oh, nice.
And as it went in the top 10, they sent me the next 2 tracks and said, would you like to work on 2 more? You know, and that's how it, you know, it picked up. But that's after starting the year with a blank diary.
That album, I remember listening to the original album in Jamaica.
Okay.
The remix, because when we think about it, we listen fairly widely, you know.
Yes.
Not as wide as you play, but we listen fairly widely, and I remember hearing that. But boy, I cannot get. You can't get that remix album to save your life. You have to go into somebody's house and thief it. You know?
Yeah, that album, funny enough, it really surprised me, because that's the first time that I realized people as far flung as Hong Kong and New Zealand were listening, because straight away we had like MTV on our case. They wanted to do interviews, Japan, all over, you know. It just went whoop and took off.
Well, that's good. We're gonna go into a few more tracks again, because there's, as I said, there is just so much music and such a variety of it, and we're choosing two particular sound systems, as it were, and which we'll discuss as soon as we play them. But there are questions. There are questions in
More
those.
questions for us.
I'm not gonna do the sounds. Are you going to do the sound system? You know?
Well,
I am going to do. I want to play this one, and this one, because you've managed to tease this lady almost out of retirement to make this record, and this one on the decks that I have queued up is Armageddon by Sister Nancy. I remember when you told me about this record, and I said, Uncle, I want it. So I'm glad I have it. As it drop, I bought it. Maybe I don't have no money, but hey, we're going into it. Sister Nancy, Armageddon, by the one, the only, the great, the legend,
Sister Nancy.
Mad Professor. Sister Nancy, the Empress.
Armageddon style. Run away, child, stop your running wild. Change your style. In this judgment, this time it's
Uncle,
wicked and
some
wild.
coconut water, we can some bring
Yeah,
coconut water.
all right, yeah, thanks.
It a go trend in a this ya Armageddon. I go burn in a this ya
Yeah, make
Armageddon.
it talk in the throat,
Run
Lord.
red in a this ya Armageddon. Fire out to burn in a this ya Armageddon. Table up to turn in a this ya Armageddon. Fire up to burn in a this ya Armageddon. Hurt, run red in a this ya Armageddon. And no people are dead in a this ya Armageddon. The Armageddon style. Slang better than the Armageddon style. When I wait child, the biggest stuff is Armageddon style. Hey, you know it's Armageddon style. I said the rich man in the house and him a drink champagne. Poor man out of the one him a yam sugar cane. Rich man in the house and him a sip
Seven.
the
Seven.
Okay.
We're halfway
We're
through.
halfway through. Because I'm not even thinking about time, you know.
in a this ya Armageddon. Rich man red in a this ya Armageddon. Mud man a dead in a this
Yeah,
ya
you want some coconut water?
Select your words off my mouth and the meditation from my heart.
This is our joke of choice.
Yeah, man, good.
I said to them,
I mean, it's the nearest thing to the real one, but
Yes, it is.
you see, when I'm in Gambia, this is what I drink every day.
There you go.
And ginger. Gambia got a hot ginger. When you drink this ginger, go crazy.
And this is our-
Every morning we
this
do
is our
lemon
morning
and
tea.
ginger.
Lemon and
We
ginger.
find the small, the pepper one,
Yeah, man.
and
That's it.
blend it up and juice it, and then have the bottle so you can pour out little and
Right.
get your shot. Yeah.
Strong, good.
Yeah, man.
Can I have the?
You going to play that right after, no?
Yes.
Oh. Shaka this.
Yes.
Shock.
And that's the living dog.
What's this track called?
Living dog.
Okay, living. After a while, I can't remember.
But you know,
There's so
you know
much,
the
there's
track
so
though.
much.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that.
This is
Runaway.
Runaway Slave.
Okay.
You hear the man?
You want to do
Mm.
Smokey in the studio when we made this one. Smoke, thick smoke, herb.
When it's a
Yeah, I remember clearly.
I can imagine.
And then if you know Shaka, you know that's it.
I'm gonna ask you to recreate what you just tell me when the track I make.
All right.
Let them know.
Yeah.
Why, as you say, the closest, not the best, but the closest. You want some more?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Just
Let's finish this.
All right. That's
No, we're good. Thanks.
Dog.
How far is the? Oh, a little bit now. As I'm going to ask you about Shaka, and then I'm going into Mr. Perry. Because nothing can go on without we talk about
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Perry.
Yeah.
They say we sit down in our living room, we just listen to the whole of the album. Listen to the whole of the album.
It's good to hear it back because a lot of the times I don't really get to hear Joe's back.
And that's how we do the show. If we have a guest, it's exclusively that music.
Yeah, man.
And so we're grateful that we can do this now.
Mm.
It's almost finished.
You say they're living up.
Living up.
Again, the big bad selector, Mrs Wedderburn.
Yes, good choice.
That one was Living Dub from the collaboration with Mad Professor and the mighty Jashaka, rest in peace. Tell us what you tell the people.
Well,
what you
you know, as the track played, I remember when we were recording and mixing that song, and the thick smoke that was in the studio, you know. It was thick, heavy cloudy in the studio.
Oh, you
And,
mind?
you know, well, you know, I mean, I'm probably the biggest passive smoker because, you know, in the studio, yeah, there was Shaka on bass, then there's like Drumton on the drums, piano, Sergeant Pepper, Black Steel and guitar. Yeah.
That's a heavy lineup.
Yeah,
you know.
man, it's some real professional
Heavy lineup.
professional musicians. Is, you know, I mean, all those guys, they're still playing now. They're the foundation of
Yes.
a lot of music being made, even today in shows, you know. They're also great performers, you know. So, yeah, the studio was heavy. And, yeah, man.
How did the, you know, let us have to ask about all the collaborations.
Yeah, man.
How did the collaboration with Shaka come about? Him
Well-
check you on or what?
Yeah, well, you know, Shaka, I knew from our front room actually because he was one of the guys when I started the studio. He came along and he was pleased to discover that, yeah, there's a studio, a reggae studio with a black man putting together a studio.
There you go.
And he started to book. The first session we done was with a guy named Junior Brown, a singer from West London, and we put it together. My tape machine could have got 8-track, 1-inch, and it could have gone 2-inch 16-track, and we got into that, and then I had to move the studio from my front room to Peckham.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved to Peckham, Shaka came on board in Peckham, and we had I had a four-floor building, and he took the second floor, so you know it became like a music factory because he was doing the sound system and other things on the second floor, and I was in the basement doing the Ariwa studio. So, you know, yeah, we became collaborators, we became friends, and we did a lot of stuff together, you know.
It heartens me, heartens us, I should say, to hear that Shaka came on very early
Yeah, man,
and
he
was very
there.
supportive. That heartens me.
Well, yeah, again, if it wasn't for his support, the label would not have developed the way that it developed. Because, you know, the music business was a business where you needed to know somebody before people take you serious, you know.
Yes.
You could go on and go on, but people just dismiss you and push you aside. But Shaka was like our front to a business that was full of nepotism and all kind of ism. So, especially me coming along with my African sounding name, Ariwa, you know, people would say, "Why? What's this all about?" So you really didn't stand a chance. But you know, Shaka was one of the top songmen. It was Coxon, Shaka, probably Fat Man, you know.
Yeah, Fat Man.
Yeah, and you know, though he was more into the real roots and dub style when a lot of people were like leaving that style and going more into the dancehall and stuff. So, you know, it was great that he took it serious, and it certainly helped us. And like one of his first releases on this label was a track I done with Sister Audrey called English Girl, you know. Don't call me no English girl.
Yes.
So yeah, it's an important, you know, leg of the
heartening.
journey.
It's
yeah.
heartening to hear that bit of history.
Shame he departed last year, you know.
You
But
know,
yeah, man's got to do what man's got to.
you know what? We were we were going to see him. He was booked for a session in Hastings.
Okay.
And we had said we were going to see him.
Okay.
Made up our mind because we've never seen him before. And I said, boy, we're gonna see Shaka. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Only to hear 2 months before, you know, his demise and for what he's done in the UK for reggae, we will go on record as I said, we're very grateful. And again, hearing this, just what you just said, heartens us. But I want to get into another important part of the Ariwa story from the beginning, and that is Lee Scratch Perry.
Okay.
We have to talk, but we can't do a show with you and talk about Lee Scratch Perry. So I don't even know. Just tell us how it went with Lee Scratch Perry.
Well, you know, I was can't remember who actually. There's a guy called Tony of Seven Leaves Records. Tony and a guy called Adam. Adam used to work for a distribution company, and they came along with this idea. Well, look, they came to see me and say, we want to do a tour with Lee Perry, and we want to do some recordings, and you know, we could come down and see if you're into it. And I said, yeah, man, because I just finished rebuilding my mixing desk and put an extra 16 channels on it. So they came down and we said, okay, we'll do the recordings, and I would spend all day recording with Scratch, and then after like a month of that, they decided, well, we'll have a tour, could you come up and do the front of house mixes? And I said, yeah, no problem. And we came in and we did some stuff for Channel 4 up in Newcastle. We did Leeds, Manchester, Sheffield, and then we did Dingwalls in London. And you know, working with Scratch was incredible because not only, I mean, he was a serious, hard-working guy, and I could see how Scratch kind of he had like the Bob Marley kind of ethics, wherein because that generation of musicians, they're workers.
Yes.
No matter what anybody want to say, they go to work to deliver. And Scratch would like sometimes record 10, 15 songs in a day. And then sometimes he want to mix 10, 15 songs in a day. You know? he just seriously apply himself, and that's one thing I learned from him, the art in working. You know, and at the end of the day, people want to say this and they want to say that, but he really believed in hard work, you know. And yeah, then afterwards he went on tour, and yeah, it was a next set of experience, because on the tours he would tell us stories about being around Bob Marley and the other guys, the Congos, and you know, it was a great schooling, really great schooling.
I'm sitting here living vicariously, hanging on to everyone.
Yeah, it's a lot to it, you know. I mean, when you go into the memory banks, there's a lot.
Why, we'd have to do another show.
Yeah, man.
We don't come off of Lee Scratch Perry yet, but I think Gillian has a track lined up. You want to play Perry now, or?
Oh, yes.
While she lines up a track.
Yeah.
Because I am just saying, you know what, I am not going to play anymore, because when Mrs Wedderburn drop a tune, it's a big tune. I don't even have to ask.
Let her surprise us.
Yes. So she's going to be playing from the collaboration, of one of the collaborations with Lee Scratch Perry and Mad Professor. I don't know what she's chosen. She just dropped the
The
needle.
true meaning of dub.
Okay.
Say it to them.
The true meaning of dub.
When you hear Mad Professor sanction it, you know it's something wicked. Run the track, Mrs Wedderburn.
It's short, so if you can say something after. I like this.
Jamaica kind of vibe, right?
Yeah. We know this rhythm from Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the Heftones might have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Rock, 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 rock.
What time now?
It's 20 past.
20 past. That's the time I run. Quick,
Run,
man.
yeah.
So you play, what you play?
I was gonna play the flip side of Sister Nancy called Runaway Slave.
Yes.
It's a very jazzy.
Yeah, play.
Yeah, that would go with this.
Alright, so we are running then straight.
Yeah. This one isn't long.
The lessons we are learning.
Very jazzy in its own way.
It's a contender, as I said.
Yeah, man.
We're going to bring about 15 or so tracks to you.
Okay, great.
Because we want a project that Mr. and Mrs Wedderburn
Yeah, man. That's a
presents.
good idea.
Yes.
Very good idea.
Give me a signal, you know.
About a minute left.
Hear the man. Hear them. Bring it down, bring it down.
Okay, that's it. Good stereo separation.
Some pioneer. Yeah.
Nice separation. The stereo effect. Maybe I'm in the right place.
Ah, you stand central, yes. This is definitely going to be in that compilation. I'm telling you that now.
Good.
There's one on the Anansi record.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one I want?
I have to to play, but I played it. I haven't played it on this show, but I played it out somewhere.
Right.
We have to drop 2 lovers right there, you know. We can't.
Finished?
We have to drop 2 lovers right
Mine's finished? Oh, it's fine. Can take it off.
there. We can play.
You
we
can
have
you
some
can
stuff.
do a vertical one for Instagram, like about 2 minutes or
Just like
something
I am.
on your phone.
African crew, that's it.
So this is a new one.
That's quite loud, quite generic. This is Family Man's son.
This is the one you were telling me about? No, we have to play this, you know.
Yeah,
And this was a wicked record. Gillian,
Yeah.
we have to play some lovers rock. We can't.
Yeah.
And you have that one.
It's just one on this
This
and
is an interesting number.
Alright. Susan Cadogan.
Yeah.
When I was at the university.
Oh, she was there.
She was the librarian. She helped me wholly.
Yeah, that was her job.
Yeah, she couldn't some of the books I couldn't afford. She didn't have no money. She just ripped me off a book.
Yeah, Susan.
Susan Cadogan, so you know, so it's almost done.
oh, play this one again.
Yeah, we're back. The jazzier side of dub, as played by the man himself, Mad Professor. This is on the flip side of the Sister Nancy track, Armageddon. And the title of this track is, interestingly, Runaway Slave. But they want to play some more music, so we're on it.
Yes.
All right, from Mad Professor says so. And Mrs Wedderburn say, yeah, we'll run with him. There you think.
Run it, run it.
You play the version.
No, this is from an album called it's an Ariwa Disco 45 and it's interracial dub
Live
by
and love.
Joe Ariwa.
Ah. So we segue into Joe Ariwa after this.
And then you play the Lovers Rock for the next half an hour. No, it's just this one.
Let me know.
How many Lovers Rock music you have?
We have couple.
Well,
We have couple.
Susan could have
Susan Cadogan.
that's raw love it.
You have the no man. The insert. Yeah.
a cute one.
Remember the easy and tall, you know. We have one in our thing, you know, in the bag, you know.
Oh,
In the box.
do the back.
And it's very important that you drop that track. You drop a Joe Ariwa track, because we
Yeah.
talk about
That's
the whole intergeneration passing on, you know.
telling you how to do your shit.
Hey baby, baby, I love you.
You want to give me one of the
This is true, and no matter what.
Play this one from Family Man Barrett's son. Rock wicked.
oh, Revelation is coming out.
As long as you
The man sound like Lee Scratch Perry. Straight.
Oh dear.
In a good way, man. In a good way.
It's interesting hearing this because you sound like a different vocal that's on the album.
Ah,
Is that the middle? Is that the middle thing?
yeah.
It's using it.
Oh, you didn't. You said you can use this one.
No, you can't use it, man. You can't use it. You can't
Oh,
use
they
it.
broke the middle.
Yeah, just use an approximation and from your center that. Or what we can do, Jimmy, I can talk. Cause I want to talk.
Oh, yeah.
And then I give it to you.
Yeah.
Cause I want to talk about this and talk about Joe.
It sounds like a different vocal than it's supposed to be.
Okay. So it's a different take. It's a different take.
Different
Like
vocal, yeah, it sounds like it. Don't know why.
There's 140 people on there.
Baby,
you know, say song too. Can't have a Mad Professor show without Lovers Rock. Cannot.
love makes the world go round.
Definitely. That's why I have a Mr. and Mrs Wedderburn show.
That's it.
But Susan Cadogan,
Yeah, man. Susie.
Queen herself.
The Liberian.
Yes. Why?
Liberian.
Susan Cadogan is someone I know personally. When I was attending the University of the West Indies,
Okay.
poor and broke. We're talking late 80s, 1988.
Okay.
And Susan would squeeze out a little book here and there that I needed to
Good. Nice.
learn the knowledge. So Susan has been instrumental in me getting my English degree all those years ago.
Nice.
All of that thing. So
Great.
for you to bring this for us to play, we're grateful. I brought back a lot of memories.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, we done about 3 albums together. Soulful reggae. This one, 2 Sides of Susan, and something else. I'm sure we done another album.
Aye.
Sometimes it gets too much for the memory box. You know?
Treasure troves, all treasure
Yeah,
trove.
man.
This track was fantastic, phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Susan is like an evergreen kind of artist, you know.
Yes.
She's like a little girl. And
Still has the voice, you know.
She's got a voice of a little girl.
Yes, and we've been blessed to have the voice. I've been blessed to know her and to see that you have made a record with her, records with her, and
Yeah,
music with her, excellent music. We are grateful. Gillian played a track before this, and I mean, for me, Gillian selecting is just uncanny, because we had to move into this, and Gillian played a track from Joe Ariwa, and if you don't know,
Okay, the
dub, yes, if you don't know who Joe Ariwa is, he is the heir apparent to Ariwa. That's how I like to put it.
Well, he's my boss. That's
AKA Mad Professor's son, and as you can hear, very, very, very talented, following in his father's footsteps, and a producer and performer in his own right. How did he come into it? Did you usher him into it, or?
No, you know what? When him and his brother Kamal were small, and his sister actually, they would come, because the studio was down the road from where we live.
Yeah.
Because by that time, we'd moved from the house, went to Peckham with the Jashaka era, then came back this time to White Horse.
The White
Lane.
Horse, where it is now.
Yeah, the present address. So he would like, they were all born mid 80s, both him and his brother, and they would come to the studio, and you know, on the way from school they would stop in, and I would be there working, and I'd want someone to operate a tape machine sometimes, so they'd be there pressing play and or moving tapes from one room to the other, struggling with tapes, you know, big tapes. So they kind of fall into it, and you know, they were all from the area, from the whole Thornton Heath area, so they really grew up around the studio, you know. They would babysit the tapes around, they would be around the musicians and artists, so I guess the seeds were planted from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because we've seen what we call in real life, where you have children of people who are moguls who didn't take to the thing at all.
Yeah, and it happens, you know, because you know, you grew up in an environment and you kind of take it for granted, or you don't see anything in it, and a lot of times you don't want to do what your parents are doing, you know. You want to do something different, you know. So it's quite normal for kids not to really want to take up the same career as their parents. But you know, these kids, they saw the legacy, and they also remember the days when I needed a lot of help, because I didn't have no brothers or sisters there to help me. So, you know, they kind of fell in, you know, especially the boys, because sadly it's more of a man's world. We didn't get the girls taking it up so much, but we got the boys. You know. They could come along and make you all kinds of stupendous offers where you think, yeah, okay, maybe I'll take £20 million and I'll just run for that and go on the beach and lie down and die, you know. Or, you know, yeah.
Very, very, very interesting you touch on that point. I'm going to go into it because you touch on it. The whole business aspect of it. Treating the music as a business. We've seen, coming from Jamaica, a lot of Jamaican musicians who didn't even know, they weren't aware, they were ignorant of the nuances of the music business, and died penniless. I come back to, because we're going to segue into that track, somebody like Family Man Barrett, who contributed so much to Mali albums, thought that he deserved something and was told that, well, you were given a payment up front, so therefore there's nothing owing to you. And he died bitter because of that. I think that was part of what sent him to his grave. So that whole thing of business that you've taken on and that you've developed, because I would say for me, Ariwa is like an empire.
Well, you know, it's not easy for instance, most of my heroes are like heroes in the music business are Jamaican producers, Jamaican production houses.
Yes.
People like Joe Gibbs, Channel One, Studio One, you know. I mean, I really admire those guys a lot. Things like, even go to America, people like Gamble and Huff, Tom Bell.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I do admire that, but I do realize that there's been a problem from originally with black people turning the music, because don't forget, nobody could sing and dance and shout like us, you know.
Yes.
And other people would come along and turn that into a business and an industry, whilst we're still singing and shouting, you know.
Yes.
So I kind of looked and admired people like Motown, Berry Gordy,
Yes.
Studio One, and I could see down the line a lot of time the legacy wasn't necessarily passed on, and we're still for a lot of artists, because you know, people like Michael Jackson, you'd have expected to pass on and
Yes.
done something somewhere along the line to help the next generation, and it didn't happen. So we have to look again and see how much of that is our responsibility or lack of responsibility, you know, and we really got to review how we did what we were doing, you know.
Sound words.
Yeah.
And very, very wise words. Before we even go further, Gillian has another track lined up, but I want to say, if you're listening, do not go anywhere, because coming up right after us, right after Mr and Mrs Wedderburn and Mad Professor, are Peaceful Bullets. Don't ask about the oxymoron, but just say Peaceful Bullets coming, and they're gonna kill you with dubs silently and maybe loudly, but they're coming up right after us at 8 p.m. Do not go away. I know you're loving BMC Radio. We're back. First show of 2024, and we're loving it.
Okay.
The selector is back again. Mrs Wedderburn, where you playing?
This one is called Revelation is Coming by Aston Barrett Jr.
Run the rhythm, my lady.
It was longer than I thought you were gonna do. That's fine. This one's good. Yes, it's fine. It's fine.
When you send the track to me, I may listen to it, I may say, hold on there. And that's why I ask you, how this sound like Scratch Perry song?
It's a funny thing. The guy is talented.
Yeah, man.
Very talented.
Yeah, man. This one is a new one.
That is from 1984. Bad tune. Love music.
I'm gonna play it then.
You have a 12-inch version as well.
You give it to me. So I'm gonna play the 12 inch. Hold on.
It's up to you.
12 inch.
Yeah, man. Play.
You know why? To give the other show a chance to come in. Yeah, yeah.
No, I was wondering where my bag was.
We have to live life for the good.
Outside.
You can put this in there.
The girl said she can't get down to this place.
Why?
Standing for your rights.
I don't know.
Got to unite, yeah.
They said BMC.
Cause we're on now.
And you got
Okay.
to do it right.
Okay, let me tell her.
Cause if she go mix cloud and also for BMC radio.
She go mix cloud and go live.
And live, and look for the live.
You recording the show?
Yeah, man.
Yes, so we'll,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
we'll
you
get
could
the
send me this.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they send it like 2 days.
I'm gonna ask Larry to that you want it. If he can send it to me, can send it to me tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Oh, is that like about 10 minutes? You think? How long do you think that is?
At least 6 minutes.
Okay. And then we'll play one more after that. We'll have time for one more.
Actually, I want to close with this song
Well,
before.
you can give me you can talk and give me something else.
Yeah.
Is good.
Revelation is coming. Aston Barrett Jr., son of family man Barrett. And when this track,
Condolences, deepest.
yes, deepest.
Yeah, Padre. Yeah, man.
You had a relationship with family man?
You know, I wanted to record a lot of stuff with him, but that was about the same time he was going through all this.
All the legal issues with
Yeah,
Ireland.
so I didn't really push it, you know. I kind of.
I'm sorry it didn't happen because
Yeah,
would have been
for sure.
would have been magic.
For sure.
Absolute
We
magic.
have this one.
For sure.
Absolute magic.
One of those things, you know. Yeah, man. One of those things.
But the legacy is there with his son.
Yeah, man.
The legacy is there with his son.
Ashton Jr. is amazing, super talented, play every instrument.
Oh, so he's an
got his-
instrumentalist too.
Yeah,
Because he's on the vocals.
play. Yeah, he's on the vocal as well. Play excellent drums, and you know, bass is really his forte.
Learned from his father.
Yeah, man. He sounds just like his father. Fat bass lines, man.
Tell
Really
you.
good.
When the track came to me first, when you sent me the track, and I listened to it, my first thought on the vocals, but oh, this sounds like Lee Scratch Perry. That is how it came across.
Yeah, it does have a Lee Perry feel, and you can't explain it. Obviously, there's a lot in the spirit.
Yeah, man. The inflections, the intonations, it
The
just
whole
sound like it.
Wailers, and the fact that they spend so much time with Scratch, and you know, it's amazing, you know. Bob, Scratch, Barrett, you know, it's all connected.
Is there a plan?
Mystical.
Is there a plan to do a full project with him? Full length project with
Well, we plan on doing more stuff, so you know, we don't know where it's gonna go, but you know, we're gonna do more. Even the week when his father died, about 2 weeks ago, he was meant to be here recording with us, you know.
Okay.
And yeah, I couldn't make the session, so it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
But yeah, you never know. You never know.
We're here for it and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Great.
We are nearing the end of the show. We're gonna squeeze in maybe about 1 or 2 more tracks. Again, big selector, Mrs. Wedderburn. Why you laugh? It's true. What you have on the decks?
It's African Queen by Amara, and I love it has that Jamaican feel again with that one in terms of the music.
Yeah, man.
So yeah.
Again, we've been playing everything exclusively from Mad Professor Stable. He's had a hand in every single track that we have played tonight. So you, based on what we've played in the short 2 hours, see the length, breadth, diversity of music that the man produces. It's not only dub. It's not only dub.
No.
So, this is Wedderburn.
African Queen. Yeah. Alright, watch this. African Queen, I'm a African Queen, I'm a African Queen. Yeah, yeah. Boy, send me a
You know why I want to finish with this one, Jimmy? Because a disco track.
African Queen, I'm a African Queen. Yeah, yeah. Took a little time to feel this way. More than the makeup you see on my face. Got that good energy. Don't need for your validation. I don't need your expectation. Right now, I feeling free. Loving on myself, look more. Feels good. Praying to my Lord, yeah. Amen. Falling in love with me. The balance, I know it's key. Queen energy.
You understand the levels.
African Queen, African Queen, I'm a African Queen, African Queen, I'm a
I don't think you understand. No. But I do appreciate it. I know you've done a lot of interviews over your lifetime.
Yeah, but you know, it's good. Like I was telling a friend today, the small station, but it's important for me not to just do big stations, you know? Just to reach
And as I say, this night, this show might be the biggest show on this station. And with the most listeners.
good.
Yeah.
And they'll get more with the replay.
Yeah.
When it's Sunday.
Good. And as I said, for us and our relationship with you, we are eternally grateful.
Great.
Eternally grateful. And just like how you're a disciple of Scratch Ferry,
Yeah.
we are disciples of you.
Okay.
We don't have the scientist record.
That's the
You
honor.
know, we think, I think in terms of dub, you,
That's the honor. That's the honor.
yes, straight. And we're not going searching for scientists. We have some King Tubby, yes, and but, so we're grateful.
Yeah, I'm grateful. Grateful. Yeah.
African Queen.
Sorry, I keep wanting to do your show.
What time?
So you can say our goodbyes and so on, and then you can.
All right.
So we are African Queens, let me hear you say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 Come on, walk and talk with inches of sweat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh. African Queen, new artist called Amara.
I need some.
Yeah.
You heard the man say, new artist coming through and she sound good. Big up Amara wherever you are. African Queen. By the man, the myth,
Amara.
the legend.
Amara.
And Mad Professor. People, we've come to the end of a show that I don't think we'll live down for a while. We're gonna have to go down and decompress and drink a cup of lemon and ginger tea and
White rum.
boy,
Yeah.
if we touch a white rum, it dead. It done tonight. It done tonight.
Okay.
But Uncle,
Well,
thank
look,
you.
Thank you very much for having me here, Mr. and Mrs Wedderburn. And yes, keep on listening. Thank you for being fans and appreciated the music. It's my pleasure.
We are disciples of the music, and to have you here,
Yeah, man.
to
It's a
to
pleasure.
just talking with you, because as I said, this isn't a scripted show.
Okay.
We didn't
good.
plan questions. We, you know,
Good.
so we're grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You well want me play the Aisha. We're gonna close with a long one. This one, as my professor said, was done in what, 70?
Now, 84.
84.
We recorded it in 84. Yeah.
And it's one of the classics.
Yeah, man,
If
definitely
you
classic.
know music, you will know this one. And the reason I'm closing with this one is because it's a disco track. Mad Professor do disco too. So, without further ado, we say our goodbyes. Peaceful Bullets come up in a few minutes. We're going out with the creator from Aisha, done by Mad Professor. I don't have no more rhymes, so I gone. Have a good evening, everyone.
Yes, have a good evening and goodbye. See you next month, second Monday of the month, and we'll see you there 6 to 8 p.m. on BMC Radio.
Yeah, man. Great to be here. And thank you very much for having me and listening to Ariwa. Remember, Ariwa means communication. Communication. All right. That'd be crazy.
There you have it. We're out.
That's for Professor. Yes, sister.